Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jody, and on my channel I talk about Broadway. I'm wearing my t-shirt for the Broadway musical Frozen. You can't see the whole thing, but this is for the Broadway musical Frozen, this t-shirt, and books. Or as I like to say, so many books, so little time. So in today's video, I'll be doing my long overdue, very super late October reading wrap up / spoiler-free book review on the book that I read in October. So I will go over a bit on what the book is about, my thoughts on the book that I read, and when all that is over, I will give out my star rating. So without any further ado, let's get on to what I read in October. And that would be a book called The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. So The Upside of Falling is about two characters, that of Becca and Brett. And Becca and Brett both attend the same school. Although they do not run in the same social circles, and despite knowing of one another, they've never actually talked to one another at school before. That is until one day at school when all the stars align and they find themselves at the same place at the same time. They start to talk to one another, and they shortly realize after talking that they are both in the same situation in their lives currently at the moment in time, and that is that the others in their lives are giving them quite a hard time about not getting out there enough and trying to meet someone and not dating. And they both come to, they both decide to make an arrangement with one another where they pretend to be in a fake relationship to get the others in their lives to back off. So that's more or less what The Upside of Falling is about. And the story is told from dual perspectives where you get to hear from both Becca and Brett what they are thinking, what they are feeling, what they are going through throughout the whole entire novel. So now for my thoughts on this book. I really quite liked it. I'm just going to put this down for a second because I don't feel like holding it anymore. So as far as my thoughts on The Upside of Falling, I really quite enjoyed my time reading this book. I had prior to reading this book, I had just finished reading a book called Saint X by Alexis Schocken. And, that's probably one of my favorite books that I read this entire year. That being said, it was a very heavy read, and the book that I was looking forward to read next, I wanted to read something a bit more fun, a bit more not so serious. And The Upside of Falling was the perfect book to read after reading such a heavy read. I really enjoyed it, like I said. There were a few things I really enjoyed about this book that made it kind of like memorable for me. Like, as the years go by, I'll probably remember these specific storylines, spoiler free, of course. And that is that there was a lot of emphasis in this story about how important it is to have a support system in someone's life, especially when someone's going through a very difficult time. And Becca and Brett were both that loyal support system for one another. Whenever they needed someone to talk to or just someone to be by their side, they would drop everything they were doing and run to the other person to just be there for them. And in real life, not everyone gets that luxury of having that loyal person in their life who will drop everything and just run to them just to be there for them in their time of need. And I really like reading about aspects, but I really like storylines that deal with this aspect of life, because like I said, not everyone gets that luxury, and it's really nice to read about that in a story if you don't have it in real life. So yeah, and the other thing I really enjoyed about this story was, I liked how the author was able to make this quite a fun, enjoyable, fluffy read, if you will. And that being said, the author did talk about serious topics such as divorce and abandonment by friends or family, and what that abandonment does to someone's self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. And I thought that these heavier topics were talked throughout the novel seamlessly into the rest of the story, where it never overwhelmed the reader or made the story feel too heavy. And I thought the author did a really amazing job combining the funner things in life with the heavier, more serious things in life. I thought that it was perfectly written and perfectly done. And last but not least, it's not every book that I read that I find myself wanting to know where these characters, end up, where they go on to. And I find myself with this book really curious, where these characters are going to go, like what became of their relationship. I would really like to, I'd really like a sequel to be made because I find myself curious, and that doesn't happen with every book. So that's how you know you read a pretty good book. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. And as far as my star rating, I really enjoyed this book. I would say I would give it, a 4.5 stars. Like I said, it was a very enjoyable, fun, easy read that dealt with both, you know, dealt with both like light, fun things in life, such as, dating and I don't know, life stuff that's not so serious and life stuff that is so serious. I thought the author did an amazing job combining those two elements of life in the story. So yeah, that's basically it from my video today, where I talked about what I read in October, my super late reading wrap up for October. So let me know in the comments, did you ever read The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, or have you read any of this author's other books? Because I know there's another book that this author has written. I actually have it. I think it's called Meet Me in the Middle. I haven't read it yet. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, so thank you so very much for watching today's video, and until next time, bye.